too, but just not look like anyone did.
What?
The reactive images that I had shared in session 0.
Oh,
It's fine. It's okay. Um,
sorry.
it's if you look on my string, it just looks like I'm all alone.
What?
The reactive. Hold on. It is sharing the wrong screen that I don't want it to share. Uh, why is it? There it is. There we go.
I'll do that.
It's fine. We'll figure that out. I'll send directions out after this session. But you can have cute little
Okay.
PNGs as your thing, or like a profile or something. Or if you want, I could just use your character's thing. But welcome in. Adrius is so ready to play. I see. Well, this is kind of special. We've been apart for a little bit. Not me specifically, but you and your characters have. This is the first inaugural official session of roll call. So any folks that are new out there, thank you for joining. Super appreciated. This has been a world of mine that I have been cultivating in my brain space for about 5 years now. In my adventures of DMing for over a decade, which is crazy to think about. I first actually started playing DnD back in 2015 ish time range. So happy to have a lovely group of adventurers here with me tonight. We have lovely Chunk, lovely Creature, lovely Alex D. Blacksmith, lovely Legion as the players that are going and embarking on this adventure officially. Behind the scenes, we've been prepping this actual campaign for the last few months. We've had character creation, we've had conversations, we've had session 0. In previous to tonight, we've had 2 separate 0.5 sessions, as I would call it. I split the party, made them go through some shenanigans, and tonight is the first official session. So some of the characters have some stories to share that are unique to each other to hopefully help the party bond a little bit, as this is the first time this group has specifically come together to play Dungeons and Dragons. Though we've known each other and played GTA outside of this for a couple of years now. So what is this campaign? What are we playing? We are in a magical land that will be explained as the campaign goes on. But the name of the world is Quilani. Think of it, the shape of it, as like inspired by Pangea. It's a heavily divine world where gods themselves walks amongst the land. They have marred the land in some ways throughout their battles. Arcane magic is a little bit rare, on the rare side. And there is a holy capital city of Surrendale, where it literally takes multiple days to walk from one end of the city to the other. And within this city, there is a magical university where our characters have all convened, and they are specifically within a unique college called the Warden College of Wardens, where they are all studying to become protectors of the land. During this program, they are bonded with a special creature who has found themselves worthy, which that was the point of 0.5 sessions, was to specifically play out the bonding, the fellowship that is created between them and their respective creature. Not the same creature that's on the call, but you get what I'm saying. So, without further ado, I think we're gonna go ahead and jump into this. Any questions before we begin to my players?
None that I can think of.
Okay.
No questions.
No questions. Okay.
Go.
I'm not necessarily going to rehash the last two sessions, as I would like to naturally have your characters play out through kind of learning about each other's experiences. Needless to say,
I do have one quick question.
what's up?
Can you send me my little buddy's full name?
Yes, give me.
Thank you. Whenever
You
have a
should. Well, you
chance.
should also. Okay, so this is a good rule of thumb for you to be able to navigate yourself.
Oh,
In the companion folder is your little buddy. If you click on your little buddy,
see him.
it'll. Yep. This is me teaching you how to fish and all that jazz. So you should feel all the empowerment to explore all, because I see more than you guys see, and you can totally, as I have stated previous to this, you can watch my stream, but you need to lurk, as you will get to see access to folders that you shouldn't be able to see as a player, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So hashtag spoilers.
Keep it secret.
What?
I'm gonna keep it secret. I don't want to see it.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna turn you back up. Give me one moment.
Okay.
I will simply watch creatures stream.
You shouldn't even be watching. You're playing.
I mean, we
Being
can
a
support each
goober.
other. We can support each other.
I know.
But I think for the audience, and just for those of, there's two players specifically that it's been more time than two other players, so I might reread a little bit of the introduction to spice things up, and we'll transition over to what plays out. Now, full disclosure, tonight is totally going to be a literal sandbox. So my players, please put on your thinking caps. Please put on your RP energy, as you are literally the directors of where this campaign goes. I have loosely a structure, but we're at the point of it's choose your own adventure, literally. So, all right. Last chance for housekeeping. Anything before we begin?
I am good on my end.
Okay.
I'm ready.
You are so ready. I'm excited. All right, here we go.
You're so ready that the fact you're up at the very top.
He's ready
just
to
gonna
play.
go.
He's ready to play. I'll go ahead and
He's making up you.
switch this map here so folks can see the map of Kulani while I read this. Kulani, the motherland, a world where the ancients walk amongst their disciples and the wilds run free. From the coast of Allurement through the ashes of Fallholt into the peaks of the Balefouren Mountains, the continent is marred by the various moments deities have fought for some reason or another, and their current time sees the Sacred Seven, the Diathanum, at the height of their power, seated in the holy metropolis of Surrendale. There are many varying chapters of this land that would take a millennia to cover, but for now our sights settle upon a time during the Golden Age. Specifically, our attentions narrow to the 17th of Transmutia and the 7th year of our Lord Pelor, 490 Diathanum Reign, or DR. Many universities have found a home in Surrendale, but none of that rivals the ranks of the Academy for Magic Arts and Wisdom. The Academy is known for producing well-known soldiers, politicians, and socialites, but no other school has come close to developing world-renowned protectors and adventurers like their wardens. To be accepted as a warden, one must not only pass the initial entry exams, but they must be vetted socially and tried physically. Once accepted to the College of Wardens, then the training truly does begin. They are trained to the divine magic, survival, historical texts, and physically molded into shape. And that is the only literal half of it. 2 years into their 4-year program, cadets are brought to the edges of Marinwood Forest, the oldest known old growth on Kulani, for the purposes of the Fellowship Trials, where they are to bond with a creature who chooses them to protect the land. together for as long as the other may breathe. Once they enter the forest, they have 48 hours to bond. If they do not, they must repeat their first 2 years. If they do not bond after a second attempt, they are let go from the program, having been found unworthy. Should they successfully bond, they are to present themselves to the leaders of their cohorts to declare the bond for the lists. Once so acknowledged, they enter into the remaining 2 years. The Warden War College, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. This year's fellowship trials begins on a mild end of a spring day. The current cohort nervously gathers before the illustrious Professor Scarlet Barrows, and this is where we have a little bit of a fast forward. As each of you that are paired up, which those pairings were Adrius Eindervale and Eliana Dupride, and the second pairing was Aidan Foster and Rowan Vallis. Each pair made their way towards Scarlet Barrows, who, in her own way, in how she's gotten to know each of your personalities, tried to calm any nervousness, address any questions you may have before you entered the Marinwood Forest. Once your pairs respectively did, you all had your own adventures over the next 48 hours. Some of you returned quite quickly out of the forest, having been one of the first few pairs to exit successfully bonded, successfully found worthy. It's close to the second day that Adrius and Ileana have now exited the forest. The first two, Aiden and Rowan, when you've exited the forest, you find you and your new creature companions looking out amongst this little bit of like a tinier glade that you had initially entered. And you can see now that there's maybe a couple other pairs that are kind of milling around. Scarlet, having taken note of you exiting. You folks would have rested over the next day or so, and you start to get a little nervous as there's no hint or any sort of clue that your fellow friends that you've gotten to know over the last few years are about to exit. And then right when you almost feel the need, you can't help it, of going and addressing Professor Barrows, you watch as Adrius and Eliana exit the woods, and the four of you now become 8, kind of take each other in for the first time. And the creatures that you now find yourself surrounded by, and each creature is standing next to their person, not super close, but close enough to be very clearly in each other's company. One you find to be a legendary griffin type, a literal griffin, who is golden in color, like that of a golden eagle, talons on the front with a lion's golden rear end. You see a very and this griffin, is currently standing next to Eliana. You see a small blackish in color dragon with tiny little arms, kind of like if a T-Rex and a dragon had a child, but definitely still tiny in color, some sort of young dragon. And this creature is currently standing next to Aiden. The third bonded creature you see is this black in color with, to throw a GTA term out there, kind of like a gasoline pearlescent on their fur. You see a saber-toothed tiger standing next to Adrius. And lastly, you see as also kind of like in a prismatic color. You see a large dire wolf who the coloring seems to almost shimmer as if it is not currently standing where you would expect it to. Every once in a while, it kind of shifts, and there's just a little bit of this like optical illusion of a shimmer. And this creature is currently standing next to Rowan. Now, this is the first time that out of character, all four of you are like standing truly. I have you on here. So I'm going to start at the top and we're going to one by one, after your adventures that they've just had, describe your characters for the rest of the group. Any descriptions that you want to share, any note about their demeanor, how they're feeling, like the basic kind of insight you would naturally kind of pick up on. So the first person I'm going to start with is Adrius.
Well, the group would see a fairly tall individual. He has jet black hair that goes down to his shoulders in like mild curls. His eyes glow with a silvery shine. He wears a dark navy blue regal outfit with golden threads. You can see his hands are clasped behind his back. He seems to have a serious face. It's kind of hard to discern what he's feeling or like the emotions he has. You notice he's always kind of looking around, like observing people. Um, yeah, that's him. He's got dark gray skin.
Oh, I was muted. How long have you not heard me for?
Um,
After your description?
a little bit before, yeah.
Okay, cool. I had said apologies. Like the weird like pauses were enough to make me think that I was actually talking. I have no idea how my mic got muted. Apologies on that. I had said the creature standing next to Adrius is the head height, it reaches his shoulder. So also a very tall, very large creature. Still technically a medium-sized creature, but very large for a tiger. The paws of this creature are very large, and the little nails are slightly extended, not fully. You can gather from this creature's demeanor that they're very much of the warrior type. This creature has clearly, you can see a little bit of scarring across their fur. They have seen some sort of action, and this leads us to Aiden, which I was like, oh, hey, Chunk, you're muted. But then I realized I was the one muted. But hey, Chunk, it's your turn now. But you're muted, by the way.
I am only muted.
I
While I'm
know.
not
Yeah, you're good.
on
That was on
scene,
me.
you know. All right. So Aiden, most notably, he's a very small man. He stands at about 5 feet tall. only weighs about 90 pounds. He's very much not the warrior type at all. He has sort of medium length curly hair, dark brown eyes, um, but they sort of stand out against very pale skin. He looks almost sickly, um, and just exhausted. There is a thoughtful air to him. He very much considers what he's going to say before he says it, um, and he has kind of a respectful demeanor, especially towards the creature at his side. He knows better than to cross a dragon, no matter how tiny. Um, but no, he is generally very thoughtful. Not normally the first to speak, but when he does speak, he's fairly charismatic. He's um, a respectful individual.
Lovely. And the creature before you is very much just seemingly slightly like eyes wide, looking around, kind of, I wouldn't say cowering, but leaning towards Ada, not so much leaning on, like making full contact on your leg, but clearly feeling a little bit overwhelmed. Just still kind of taking everything in. Any basic insight would give that this creature um, is fairly young-ish kind of demeanor. Anytime like walking around, they seem to like be getting used to at just being able to freely move. Leading us to Eliana.
Eliana's a mid-height half elf, and she's got the usual brown hair from from her human father, but she's got the fair skin of her elvish mother, and she's still getting used to being around the public, so she's kind of like still lurking around, even though she's just taken and still staring quite literally in awe up at her companion. Like she doesn't know what's going on with it, but she still fears like one wrong move and she'll cause someone harm because she's still struggling with some of her past mentally, and all of her friends can see that.
And the creature standing next to you is actually standing behind you just a little bit. Wings kind of fluffed out. Yes, Arya. And almost prideful. And keeping mostly an eye on you, Eliana. And just kind of intaking the rest of the group. And she actually at this point ends up like sitting, but her head is definitely taller than Eliana. She's even sitting, this creature is rivaling the tallest of your group. Leading us to our last but by no means least, Rowan.
Okay. Sorry. So Rowan is average height. He's about 5'9". Not super tall, not super short or anything. Has a little bit of a rugged look to him. Hair's a little tousled, kind of everywhere. But his looks do not describe what's in his eyes right now. He's very, very blunt, very forward with anything that he does, and his face, excuse me, shows a bit of a hardened edge. He's got silver eyes, a little bit of a rugged beard. Is dressed in leather, like black leather armor that's adorned with like silver accents, and It looks a little worn. Yeah. And he's kind of just surveying the area as he's seeing everybody coming back, seeing his companions, seeing his creature that he's bonded with. But it's kind of hard to tell really what he's gathering due to his just calm and serious demeanor.
I love that. As each of you have kind of reached just this little bit of space. Oh, apologies. Description of your companion. Your companion just seems ever watchful, kind of like take it in, not nervous, not on guard, just kind of meeting Rowan's energy almost. And once he kind of realizes like everyone seems to be sizing everybody up, this large dire wolf just ends up laying down, and when their head rests upon the ground, his chin just naturally kind of rests upon Rowan's foot a little bit to give a little bit of comfort. Now your group has, I would say, about an hour or so before you're going to be kind of led to there's a pretty nearby a natural amphitheater that was built in for the purpose of finalizing the bond and ending this fellowship trial. This is where you will give your name for the lists, where you'll let Professor Barrows know and everything. But for now, all of you feel exhausted but accomplished, and especially relieved as what just happened today paid off 2 years of studying and prepping alone, just the 2 years. But if this was your character's ultimate goal to get into this college for the purpose of becoming a warden, this is a core memory, a core day you will never forget, truly. A life's accomplishment. Most that even have the chance to do don't necessarily complete. So if there's anything to be said, now's the moment for your characters to just kind of unwind and chat a little bit. I'm curious who would be the first to speak.
Adrius, would you mind explaining what all happened down there? You were separated from me for a few hours.
Again, I do apologize. It was not my intention to be gone for so long. I will say I found the crypt under that statue. It's where I found this sword. And he brings out the long sword that he has.
At least you still got something. Arnatole here took and stamped my staff, remember?
Well, you did try to whack them quite a bit with your staff.
The griffin kind of huffs. Almost like in enjoyment, as almost like a chuckle. And you hear in your mind's eye, Ileana, it was well deserved. You'll mend it, I'm sure. Or find another.
And she just kind of looks over at her, like, still kind of sarcastically, like, and just stays quiet, like, and looks down the ground, like, okay.
And for Aiden and Rowan, you were also witnessing what you guys had experienced, where there was like that weird moment where you realized you were hearing voices, but it was only like specifically one person hearing. You witness an exchange of eyes locking from the Arnatole, which is the first time that you've heard that name. And I'll spell this in chat so you can see it. But you should also be able to see the character itself. Arnatole very clearly, the head kind of comes around and nips at Eliana's shoulder playfully. Some sort of communication did take place mentally.
You said that you found a sword. We found some sort of crystal that goblins had found. Do we still have that, or did we give it to Professor Barrows?
You still have it, but do you take it out?
I don't think so. Not here.
Okay.
I'm just going to kind of describe it.
Okay.
That it's.
Go ahead, describe it.
Go ahead.
Oh, you're good.
Okay.
I just showed you the photo. but,
Okay.
yeah.
I was remembering from what it was like that it has a sort of fluid inside of it. Is that correct? It's a clear crystal.
Mm-hmm. Did the handout pop
with
open your
something-
eyes?
Yes, it did.
Okay, cool.
And it has sort of a fluid swirling around inside of it. Do I remember that you said something like it almost seems like it's alive or something of that nature?
Make an insight check.
There's something I know you. Oh, right.
First
see how
official
it
roll of the
is.
campaign. First official roll of the campaign. No pressure.
There we go. Oh!
Ooh, nat 20.
Shut the fuck up. Oh.
I'm staring at this thing in my bag.
I'm gonna whisper you something.
Ooh, okay.
It should have showed it to all of you. There's a button that says show to all players. So hopefully it forces the handout to pop open in your eyes. Did it do that, creature? If you're talking, you're muted.
Oh, I thought I unmuted. It popped up this time.
Okay, cool. Permissions might be a little weird because like I was keeping half of what people knew with like 2 other players versus 2 other players, but as we play, I'll keep adjusting them. Wow. Okay. First that, and I'm going to whisper. So I'm actually gonna Discord message you what you find out. Because you did not take it out. This is a kind of a memory
No.
thing. Okay, hold on. As
Yes,
you
yeah.
recall. All right, there you go.
Interesting. Um, it's definitely magical. Um, that much I know for sure. I'm not positive about anything else. But I definitely think we should do some
If you will,
research at the very least.
if you will allow me to take a look, I might be able to discern later.
Um, how private of an area are we in? How many other you said there were other people around?
Yeah, there's a couple other groups, other cadets that you do kind of recognize having been a part of. There have been a couple other pairs that have exited the forest at this point. Barrows seems pretty distracted, but also seems to like every once in a while shooting an eye towards your direction. You guys have very clearly been like the favorites of hers. If you ever like in high school like hung out with like another teacher, she is that kind of cool teacher, but also she is your mentor. Um, so you have a pretty close relationship with her. As far as like, are you out in the open right now? Yeah, you're totally out in the open. Could you find like an area maybe closer to the ridge line of the forest and maybe kind of situate yourselves to where you naturally kind of block stuff? Yes, you could also do that. There's a pathway that you could walk down for a couple minutes that's away from the group, but is towards the amphitheater. But you would have to be kind of quick about it, as most people are going to be making that their way in like the next 45 minutes.
Okay. I'm kind of gonna usher Adrius over to the side, by like the forest line, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of try to use my body to block it as I pass it over to him, like.
Mm-hmm.
Adrius is gonna take it and he's gonna examine it, just turn it around, try to remember if he's seen anything specifically that would resemble this crystal.
Okay. Make a history check, please.
Alright. And 22.
Okay. No natural 20.
No, I had a 18 plus 4.
Okay. Crystals in nature are still something that you can find within Kulani, very similar to our own world. Um, there have been whispers of like in recent journals that maybe you have come across. And when I say recent, I would say within the last 20 years of people experimenting with crystals. Not just because they're pretty, not because they can just be made into jewelry, but especially in certain arcanist circles or those that kind of teeter or like kind of straddle the line between divine and arcane, um, looking into using crystals as focuses, as things that they can enchant. That it's, if you can think of like alchemy, like the feeling of alchemy within our own world of like, oh my god, turning wine to gold or like whatever. Like it's literally like that stage of potential technology, but it's also frowned upon as the gods don't necessarily recognize like to them magic should flow from the divine to the devotee and not have something kind of in between or a third party, or that the devotee should utilize something like that. Do people still enchant like items and everything? Oh, yes. But like what people have been doing with crystals specifically is to house and, for lack of a better term, evolve magic. And that is a kind of frowned upon thing. As far as like, have you seen this specific crystal? You, I mean, there are crystals in nature that are very rare where they like when they're formed, water can get trapped in them. It's pretty cool. But you've never seen anything like this. You don't even you have never seen anything like as black as the liquid found within this crystal. And it's like black as black, like space black.
Adrius is gonna hand it back to Aiden. He's gonna look Aiden in the eyes and be like, "I'm sorry, my friend. I have never seen something like this. I cannot tell you."
Aiden's just gonna nod and put it back in his bag.
Before you do that, can I have both of you make a wisdom save, please?
Ooh,
Yes.
did I do that over here? Tell me if I've done this right.
Mhm.
Yes. Okay.
Dirty 20.
Okay. For a split second, as Aiden and Adrius, as you guys are sharing connection, like passing of the crystal between each other, there's a moment where you feel like both of your fingers are kind of glued to the surface of this crystal. And Aiden, you feel you hear that similar thing that you heard previous, but then you both kind of like shake your head and you're able to break it. And then it's like you both feel like something was trying to almost hold you in place before
He is gonna shove this thing into the bottom of his bag and let go, like it burned him.
yeah, and as you do let go, you look and you do see a little bit of black residue on your fingertips, both of you.
Adrius is gonna like rub it against his fingers.
Aiden's just kind of gonna stare at it, like
You rub your fingers and it kind of breaks up and dissipates as if it were like ash.
You're gonna see Adrius pull out a book and start writing it down.
All right. And you guys specifically pulled yourselves away from the rest of the group, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
yes. Give me 1 second. I'm looking to see if I have anything to like collect a sample of it in, but I don't think I do. No. No, I don't. All
Okay.
right.
All good. As you go to turn and kind of go back with the rest of your group, you almost at the same time, Professor Barrows walks up very quickly, looking each of you over, looking, and for a split second, kind of making eye contact with each of your companions in a very approving way. And she goes, "Did you bring something back with you?"
Adrius is gonna step forward and be like, "I brought this sword."
She looks at the sword. "May I?"
Absolutely. And he hands it to her.
She grasps it, feels the weight, within her fingertips, kind of bouncing the weight a little bit. Looks the blade up and down. You see her eyes kind of flash. And she has like a nod of approval and she goes, "This blade seems bonded with you. I think it will treat you well." And then she looks specifically towards Aiden. "You brought something out of that forest with you, didn't you?"
He just nods. It sort of lifts his pack and hands it to her. He does not want to touch that thing again.
You watch as she reaches into like one of her side pockets and brings out like a piece of cloth, looks at it, and kind of just tries to naturally look around, grabs the crystal with the cloth and shoves it back in her pack. And she kind of holds her arms out, kind of beckons you all to lean forward. "Do not tell anyone what you have found. Do you understand me?"
I was gonna pipe up on Professor. Is there any way I can anywhere I can replace my quarterstaff?
She sighs.
Aiden's
"Yes,
dying to ask what it was.
Eliana, yes, of course you can get a quarterstaff replaced. It is definitely something we can look into. But I need to hear that you understand. You do not breathe a word of what you found. Do you understand?"
Understood, but what is it?
"Tomorrow morning,
A what now?
she seems pretty conflicted. She goes, she repeats again, "Tomorrow morning, before breakfast, come to my office, all of you. We will have tea. We will speak where it's safe. It is not safe here. Do not tell anyone what you found. Can I get a nod?"
Aiden nods.
Adrius follows suit. His eyes are going to be like locked onto her.
She nods with both of you. Then she looks at Rowan and Eliana.
Rowan looks up from the stick that's in his hand that he's trying to get Romulus to play with, and is like, "Oh, yes." He was completely like zoned out.
She gives you kind of a knowing smile. The bond between is very early and very kind of endearing. You get the sense that she can relate. And she looks towards Eliana. "Eliana."
Eliana will look inquisitively over towards Arnatole and then immediately looks back at her and nods like, "Yes, Professor."
She breathes a deep sigh of relief. Kind of stands up. "All right. Now don't be late. Please start making your way towards the amphitheater." "Go on."
Adrius immediately turns and walks away.
Aiden nods and kind of scoops Axios up in his arms and starts walking.
You hear in your mind.
Eliana,
Oh, go ahead. Go.
Eliana will take and stand up and motion for Arnatole, but we'll wait for Arnatole to get up and start going with her.
Arnatole, it takes a second as she is watching with clear eyes Professor Barrows walk away. and she has not moved.
Come on, Arnatole.
She is your leader.
She is our professor. She's the one that trained us.
She's quite powerful, that one. And she kind of shifts and starts walking your direction. Rowan, do you start walking?
Yep. So I stand up, keep the stick in my hand, and kind of just trail it behind me, being jokingly obnoxious to Romulus, because Romulus is very similar in demeanor. So it's just amusing.
Come here, little. Stop moving. That's not fair. Stop. You need to let me get it at least once. You hear as he like does like the paw, but like is clearly he could probably catch it, but he's very much enjoying this playfulness. Your characters make your way towards the amphitheater. I just naturally put your tokens on the map. You're able to make your way down, and the starting screen is actually the entrance to the amphitheater. Before you find respective stone steps, you find that there are a variety of different professors that are seated throughout the crowd. I purposely did not put them on the map because that's just more assets that will slow everything down. So, hey, theater of the mind. Imagine it probably about 75% full. And you all start to rank up now, each with your respective companion by each other's sides. Over the next 30 minutes or so, more of the bonded pairs start to begin. Professor Barrows makes her way, to the lists. And for the first time in the last few days, you actually do see another professor who give me 1 second, let me double check something. Dun, 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 dun. This professor is a winter eladrin. He is very pale in color, silvery white, long hair. Eladrin is just kind of another subspecies of elf. He's got the pointed ears. But what strikes him very clearly is he has very green eyes, like the brightest green that you have seen. It's very striking. He's a very serious professor, and he is the professor of alchemy and herbology for your cohort. He thrives with working with plants and varieties of different nature. He's typically the one to help your characters find good tonics if they should they find themselves ill in any way. He's also taught basically like first aid in the wilderness to take care of each other, you and your companion, multi-creature, cross-species, medicinal care, all that kind of stuff. His name is Professor Tolith Umric. He, other than Professor Barrows, is the second longest in tenure at the College of Wardens and the college itself, or the academy itself. He's helped out Professor Barrows from time to time. He's kind of here. You already knew he was going to be here as a second administratively, as Professor Barrows is going to be leading the final fellowship, the lists, and Yeah, you would just know him as Professor Umric. When you got to the amphitheater, he was kind of already there, setting up the rest of the stuff. Eventually, as all of you and your cohort line up one by one, he ends up walking down the stairs to each of you respectfully, kind of taking your group in as he's for the first time seeing you and the companions who have chosen you. There's a puff of his chest and being proud of the future wardens that kind of stand before him. When he rests his eyes upon Axios, he kind of tilts his head slightly and then kind of shrugs, almost as if he's seen other pairings that mayhap looked a little less than quote unquote normal or your standard. And as he makes his way kind of weaving through the group, he comes up to you each respectively and gifts you something that you would have learned in your schooling. And this is something called a pendant of keeping. It's a little enchanted piece of material. The material itself kind of has that. If you've ever held tin in your fingers, it is something the Warden College themselves makes for specifically just wardens. And for lack of a better term, it's a Pokeball. I made a Pokeball. So to make my life easier, to make your lives easier, this little enchanted material will house a companion safely. Wardens are gifted these upon successful completion of their fellowship with their companions, and every warden customizes how they wish to carry this pendant. Whether it be as a necklace, a bracelet, or other means is up to you. So, respectively, each pendant is kind of naturally forged by blacksmiths. Honestly, there's speculation that it's just like runoff or like excess material, iron. And then it's the bond themselves. Like you basically have to attune with this pendant for it to work. So just like a true anime, I want everyone to think, this is your homework, of a fun code word that you would have to essentially say verbally that would take in your companion as well as take out of your companion within the stone. Any questions on the pendant of keeping?
No.
Not here.
Okay. Logistically speaking, this makes it personally easy for me. So we don't like sometimes warrior creatures, they don't necessarily have to be with you, but they could be with you, if that makes sense. So I hope you like it.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
It'll be interesting to figure out.
Yeah, totally. And something fun accessory wise for you to figure out how you're going to carry it. It will have to be seen in some way. So like you could put it, embed it in an embracer, for your forearm. People literally use it as a necklace. You could braid it in your hair. You've seen a variety of different ways that wardens have done this.
Aiden attaches it to his prayer beads.
No, like actually, no, that's something people have done.
Yeah.
However, something to keep in mind is that if someone, and this is something that wardens have to be aware of as well, if it is stolen and it has your companion in it, it is stolen, it has your companion in it. So
Yikes.
you're going to have to like, so, you know, you don't want it to be so frivolously like attached, but still smartly attached. So one by one, Professor Umric gifts you all your respective pendants, kind of nods, checks in with you, if you are ready. And there really isn't a lot of pomp and circumstance for what's about to happen. As mentioned previously, the one thing I will retcon a little bit from the first group, I was like, oh, Professor Barrows, like the name of her companion is completely under lock and key. It's not. It's just names of power in certain societies. So keep that in mind. And eventually it gets to your guys' row where you are, and she kind of looks at you all before calling Aiden to come forward. And at this point, Professor Umric is back beside her with his own like clipboard, kind of taking in everything, just kind of watching the ranks and everything. Professor Barrows goes, Aiden Foster, please step forward.
And Aiden kind of comes on up, assuming Axios will
Mm-hmm.
follow.
Axios very shyly walking behind you. Professor Barrows sitting at her chair, going through skulls, looks up at you and goes, Aiden, I am pleased to see you before me. What is the name of your bonded creature?
He goes by Axios. It's not his full title.
I need the full title, Aiden.
Breaking character, you're doing this to me on purpose.
It's a dragon. They have fancy names. Sue me. You chose a dragon.
I'm gonna butcher this. Alright, let's go. Aiden takes a deep breath.
Axios steps forward proudly. Puffs out.
His name is Axiosumon the Nocturnal, son of Redorsumon the Grey Waste, and Sivnanair the Eternal Hunger, descendant of the voracious Capnolithil line.
Axios does like little happy feet, and you hear in your head, you actually got it right.
I remembered. Aiden says that in Draconic.
In Draconic, Professor Barrows goes, and so you are bonded. Bring forth your pendant, please.
Aiden kind of steps forward, careful not to jostle Axios, and hands the pendant over.
You watch as Professor Barrows puts her hand over the pendant, and when she lifts, you see little etchings on the pendant as your name and Axios' full name in Draconic is on the pendant before she hands it back to you.
It's 2 words and then a whole paragraph.
Yep.
I love it.
You may return to the
Aiden takes
lists.
it back. He kind of, before he goes, he kind of motions to Axios that he can get up on his shoulder if he would so please. Then heads back to his spot.
Axios, being prideful, declines at that moment. But instead of
Okay.
walking behind you, walks in front of you. And before going back to the original spot that you guys were both kind of at parade rest, Professor Barrows takes a second to scribble something, looks up and goes, Adrius Eindervale, present yourself. Odinus stalks forward with you, and this time takes a seat to your left, Adrius, and waits. Professor Barrows looks over at you two and goes, Adrius, what is the name of your bonded?
My companion's name is Odinus. The Midnight Dagger.
You hear in your head, I like that. I didn't have that before. I'll be your dagger. Professor Barrows nods respectfully. A very curt nod, a very noble nod that you're used to. Stoic. I like it, Adrius. Seems like a good pairing. Please, your pendant.
He'll place it on the table.
Same thing, you watch as she covers the pendant. It glows slightly. And in Draconic, your names are both etched into the stone before she hands it back. You may return. Rowan Vallis, present yourself.
Yes.
So, can he do his phase step? I believe that's what it's called. So I
Yeah,
have my...
if you want to be fancy.
And then I want, yeah, I don't want Romulus to follow suit, basically. So, yeah. So Rowan uses phase step and just appears in front of the table, with Romulus doing pretty much the exact same thing and blinking next to him.
Almost at the same time, as if literally reading your mind, there is less than milliseconds timing difference as you both appear before her. And she leans back in her chair and Umric stifles a laugh. I should have known. I should have known. Rowan, of course. Of
Oh gosh.
who name creature, please, now. Thank you.
Beside me is Romulus the Relentless.
She looks at Romulus, and Romulus's maw just opens into this like almost Cheshire like grin. Though she's going to be fun to play some pranks on, I think. Barrows kind of narrows her eyes like a mm-hmm. Well, as usual, this pairing does seem to mesh well. Pendant, please, and please just hand it. Don't blink over here.
Rowan smirks and just hands over the pendant.
She like looks up at you and doesn't break eye contact before her hand glows over the stone. In Draconic, both your names are on it. She hands it back.
They're just casually walking back to their spot now.
You hear like a click of a tongue from Professor Barrows as she like scribbles something additional on the lists. Looks up at the group, smiles softly towards Ileana. Ileana Dupride, please. Walk, please, up here. Walk.
Eliana will just like, as she's walking by Rowan, just be like, clown. As, because she doesn't know what else to say. As she, then she realized that she hasn't gotten Arnitoli's attention, and turns around and goes, pops back and goes, hey.
When you turn around, Arnatoli is on the ground. She's flying up and lands in front of you. Wings prideful, kind of literally makes your hair flow a little bit. Very much like a Beyonce fan, a little bit for Ileana. Professor Barrows just looks at you both and goes, I'll show today. Well, Ileana, please, the name of your lovely, lovely, voracious griffin.
Her name is Arnitole Stormtalon.
When you say Stormtalon, You see a flicker occur in Barrow's eyes, and almost very briefly, she seems to like look over at Professor Umric, and Umric himself seems to be kind of wide-eyed. Storm Talon.
Eliana will
Interesting.
take a look over at Arnatolia, confused now.
Confirm it is Storm Talon. I am. Let's just say my line's pretty well known. She puffs out her chest a little bit.
Okay, she'll look back at Professor Burrows.
Pendant, please, Ileana.
She'll hand it over quite quickly, but still confused between the whole encounter that just went on.
She takes the pendant. You see the glow once more. Indraconic, both your full names are on it before she hands it back. Please return to the ranks.
Yes, Professor. And she tries to hurry back.
By the way, you should be able to, and this is a good test for everybody, for us in the future, everybody should be able to move their companion. If you just want to move your companion a space up and down to double check the pounds are there.
I still can't touch mine.
You can't touch yours? Okay, give me 1 second. This is why we're doing it.
I stole
Moving.
Odinus. I'm so sorry.
You took Odinus
Every,
from Adrius.
you know, it's funny. It's everybody should be able to move everybody's. Okay, try now.
Okay.
All right. Rowan, did you move yours? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
Move mine at the same time.
Over the next hour or so, this same process seems to occur for like the next 40 or so cohort members. You look around and you realize that this is the smallest group the wardens have seen in a very long time. There is not as many bonded pairings as what the lists are used to. And everyone else seems to take notice as well. Professor Barrows and Umric talk hushedly for a couple minutes at the end once the last pendant has been enchanted. Before she kind of nods to him and she steps out from behind the table. Professor Umric starts kind of gathering the papers his own way as Professor Barrows steps forward with her arms clasped before her. At this point, she nods to her companion, the owlbear, for the owlbear to join her on the stage. She looks out amongst the crowd, takes a deep breath. My charges, my hopeful wardens. I'm so very proud of what you have done these past few days. You, very few, have been through the lists, have tried yourselves, both mental and physical, have woke before dawn, stayed up to the eerie nights of midnight, only by candlelight to continue your studies. Passed various tests that I have thrown at you, that Umric and your other professors have thrown at you. You've come to know the land. And today, the land has found you worthy. Your companions have found you worthy. And so, your fellowship has begun. You are now bonded. For better or for worse, you know this. For when one passes, so does the other. Remember this, as some of the creatures before you are immortal. You yourself may be immortal. But that does not mean a mortal injury may take your life. It can and it will. Remember this moment. Not all of you will make it the next few years. You know from your lessons, you know from your personal experiences, Kolani is a land that is ever changing. Change is the one constant we can expect, and so we must adapt. You need to be fleet-footed. You need to be quick-minded. You need to lean on each other, to trust each other, and trust your companion. Keep each other close, keep each other safe. Your studies continue. And so now your bonded classes will begin. Congratulations, cadets. And welcome to the War College of Wardens. And she claps her hands, and when she does so, releases many dancing lights. You watch also as Umeric sets off a simple spell of thaumaturgy in celebration. A lot of your members of different of the cohort shoot and holler and clap. And there's a general sense of frivolity. I need the four of you to make an insight check as you're watching Professor Barrows. All right, I have Aiden.
I got a-
Rowan. What'd you get? Sorry?
I got a 15.
You had a 15. Aiden and Adrius. There's a brief moment. It's actually very fitting that it's you two that pick up on this. As she's looking upon you all, you kind of take her in, and you notice that while she's smiling, while she's happy, her eyes are not smiling. And when her eyes rest upon you both, you pick up a sense of worry. A feeling of dread. Like she's trying to push through some sort of emotion. And that's something that Professor Barrows, who's generally optimistic individual, it's almost off-putting that she seems worried. And towards the end of her speech, you watch very briefly as she seemed to pat the same pocket that she put the stone in, almost as if she was trying to reassure herself that it was still there. At the end of the noises, the dancing lights, she goes, all right. Now, don't forget, you need to make sure that you figure out a way to carry your pendants, and you need to be able to attune with the item. Yes, I know. meditate. It's been a long time since you've probably done that, and most of you have never actually attuned to an item, but you know it is key to attune to the pendant. It is imperative for the work ahead of you. Later this evening, please make sure, if you wish to celebrate at the Great Hall, there will be libations, there will be many different food for you to partake in as we celebrate your bonded pairs. They will themselves will be getting acclimated and settled in the various stalls. I hope to see you there this evening. And yes, it will be formal dress. And you hear a little bit of a groan, or like, I know, but it's an actual party, folks. Let's actually dress up for once. Okay, thank you. You all released.
Adrius doesn't groan because he's already doing it.
He's very clearly like already in formal clothing.
Aiden's fine with it as well. He's like, he's typically either fairly formally dressed or he's in like his church attire.
Mm-hmm.
So fairly
Eliana would
formal.
Sorry, Eliana would kind of look down at her stuff and just look confused, like as if what she's wearing is considered formal since she's not been in society for as long as you guys.
Aiden's like, it's okay, girl. We'll get you taken care of. Don't worry.
Shaney, I actually have a question
got
for
you.
you.
What's up?
Would this like type of celebration have like members of their like families, something like that?
Great question. No, this is going to be a kind of closed-doored celebration between the faculty and the cadets. It's not like a graduation. This is just kind of more of a milestone celebration and a way for the cadets to let off a little steam. Before you guys, it's like a Friday right now, and you're gonna have the weekend, and classes resume on Monday. So,
Okay.
this is going to be. It's a way to kind of distract. It's a way to kind of let loose, relax from the bond a little bit. Also, give your bonded creature some time to kind of acclimate themselves on the college grounds. And to kill time for you guys as well. So over the next, and at this point, it's probably about, I would say like 4 p.m-ish. It'll take about an hour or so for you guys to make your way back into the city. But fortunately, with the help of Professor Barrows and Umric, there is use of teleportation waypoints that she's able to essentially ferry the rest of the class. As Serndale is fucking massive, and like I said, it can take multiple days for your group to be able to cross across the city. And where the university is located is kind of on the inner circle of Serndale, which, as a reminder, Serndale is made of 7 different wings or rings around the entire city, the core of which has the sanctuary for the Diathenum, and then the second out has the Diathenum conclave. So it takes about an hour for you guys to get to like the main gates, and then within the inner gates, you're able to go to one of those teleportation waypoints, and she's able to get you guys to the university district, back towards the College of Wardens. You all would have already packed up your bags, knowing that either you would be moving to the first year dorms, having to repeat yourself, or being able to move to the senior cadet dorms, having been found worthy, which are actually located. When I say stables, they call it stables because that's just the easy way to put it. But it is a facility that is both underground and also above ground, and they have various different wings for folks to live in, and there's kind of two major ones, but underneath is where a lot of different stalls and different various sizing, because everyone's creatures are not all the same. They're not all the same horses, right? So we got griffins, we got owlbears, we got tiny dragons, larger dragons, and there is a little bit of like, not like arcane magic that goes into molding the land, but there is some very impressive feats of dwarven architecture that goes into making sure that the quote unquote stables are able to house every current creature companion with comfort. And then on top of the stables are the actual living quarters of the third and fourth years of the cadets for the Warden College. So over the next hour or so, you folks are able to essentially get your companions sorted in their quote-unquote stall, which is the name of their room, and then you are led up to your new quarters. And to no one's surprise, your group is now considered a unit. And there's about, I'll have to do the math later, but I'm going to say like every unit is made up about 3 to 4 students. And it's your unit that is going to be tried and tested through various different checkpoints of like over the next few years. So you guys, if you've ever been like a college suite, that's essentially what you guys are living in. So each of you have your own respective room, and you're connected by like a bathroom and walk-in closet, essentially. And then also there's like a foyer where you guys kind of convene and talk and sometimes eat breakfast or study. But yeah. So by the time you get back, I would say, because I am kind of fast tracking here, if there's anything that you want to do with your characters leading up to the party or before the party, let me know. We can role play that out now. Otherwise, we can just say your characters get back to the college, get their stuff, get their companions sorted, go up to their new rooms, kind of lay out, refresh themselves, and then go to the party. So, is there anything that you would want your character to do outside of that? Speak now.
I'm good.
Yep, good to go.
All
I'm
right.
fine on my end with this.
Lovely. All right. Well, for funsies, there is new garb that your characters would get. It is an all black uniform that I'm gonna have to take a picture of this, that buttons up on your left shoulder. Then if you were to unbutton, kind of folds over with gold trim. And when you guys graduate, it will be turned to silver trim, and that's kind of the sign that you are a now fully fledged warden. And there are various different patches that kind of denote, in a Girl Scout way, like the different feats that you guys have done. But for lack of a better term, like this garb is now like you're bonded. Before you could wear, honestly, street clothes and it would be okay, but or just clothes that would allow you to be more physical. But moving forward, now that you've entered the war college, you now are going to get used to the warden uniform. There are various ways that people can make their own uniforms unique, meaning like you don't have to wear breeches. You can wear, like, as long as it's black with the gold trim, that is the biggest point, the biggest feature. And then on your right shoulder is like the patch of the wardens, essentially, which I realize now I didn't design yet. I don't know why I did that. That was a oversight of mine, but I will do that for next session. So like if you want to switch out to like wear a skirt but like have the more formal military type top, you can do that. Or if you just want breeches, that's fine. If you want like a capelet, that's totally fine. I want you guys to kind of own that. But for the most part, that's going to be kind of the structure. So that being said, let's have a little fun. And you can tell me if they would wear standard wear, totally fine, or if you want to have your own flair after I've just gotten done expounding on all that, let me know. So I'm gonna start at the bottom this time. Rowan, what would your take on the uniform be, or would it be standard?
So it sounds very similar to what he would have worn for the Winter Court.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's gonna keep it pretty similar, but take a few aspects from his own court uniform. And so, like, talking about the pendant, he'd make it a little more adorned. Like, he's got a signet ring that he'd wear for the court, so I think that would be tying into his uniform a little bit for the Pokeball kind of thing for the medal, turning it into his signet ring.
I love that.
Yeah. But I think it would still be very similar to just the standard uniform.
So have
He's
you?
very...
Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Nope. What I was gonna say, I'm gonna put it in Discord chat. But what I was specifically thinking of, to be honest, is very similar to the Battlestar Galactica top. That's what I was trying to describe, where it's like, oh, if you button it up to the one side, and then if you were to unbutton it, it kind of rests over. That's what it looks like. So imagine this kind of cut, maybe not with a pocket, but like black in color, probably not that buckle belt, but you get the gist.
Mm. So, like, modern day Space Force uniform.
Yes, if that's what.
Just black.
Yeah, black with gold trim. All right, Eliana. And you're muted, Ken.
Yeah. She would probably stick with the basic uniform look because she doesn't want to or doesn't know how to make herself stand out yet.
Mm-hmm. Love that. Love that. All right, Aiden.
So I'm thinking something along the lines of standard, but I kind of want to see if I can do something a little more robe-like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the top kind of continues downward into a robe, with like a sash around it. And I'm thinking for his little pendant, I think he's going to wear it as an earring.
I love that. Oh God, the way that I'm just like, what happens if his ear? Anyway,
I know.
it's okay. We'll roleplay that through that if that happens.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Exactly. All right, Adrius.
I think Adrius he'd probably try to make it his garb a little bit more fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Just like kind of like more regal, like what he wears now. He'd probably have like a neckerchief. He'd probably wear kind of like the garb, like a cloak. And his pendant would be a brooch that holds the cloak.
Love that. Okay. Your pendant's
It would have like his family's coat of arms.
Oh,
Yes, creature.
Eliana's pendant will probably be like a hair, like a clip or something she puts in her hair because where she worries about it losing it if she shifts.
Okay. Love that. And I think with that, we're gonna go ahead and take a 5-minute break. Because we're a little over past our our halfway mark, and we will pick up with the group getting to the Great Hall for the party. So see you in about like 35, 38 after.
I do want to say I cannot go past midnight.
I know. I'm always aware.
Okay. All right. I have about 30 minutes in me.
All right, I'm back.
I'm back.
Hello.
Whoa. All right, do we got a creature?
I'm here.
All right, do we have a chunk? Chunk, you're muted if you are there. Boop, 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 boop.
But yeah, what I was thinking, Shaney, is in the chat.
In the chat? Oh, this chat. Ooh. I love it. That's yes. All the fucking yes. Yep. I love that so much. Alright, so for Adrius, what was his pendant again? Sorry.
It's a brooch that holds
Holds
the
the-
cloak.
Gotcha. We got a
It
brooch
has
for
like his
Adrius.
family, his
Signet.
family's coat of arms on it.
Nice. We got an earring for Aiden. We have Rowan's signet. And we have a hairpiece. I love that for Eliana. Okay. Chunk, if you're there, you're muted. We're just waiting on you. Boop, boop.
I also hydrated while I stepped away, Shaney.
Good. You do it to me all the time. Felt good that I could do it
I
to you.
know.
Hydration is important.
So important. Have you hydrated?
Speaking with,
There you go.
let me hold up.
Oh.
Got my giant bottle of water.
Oh, look at that cute face. I say as I'm drinking a Mountain Dew, it's fine.
Hold up.
Oh, you got one? Jesus.
Wait a minute.
Got a 2 liter.
Legion, are you about to show us your bottle? That would have been funny. Leah, are you there?
I had orange juice earlier.
Oh, nice. You know what's
Drinking
funny?
My vitamin C.
Nice. Like, orange soda is too sugary for me. Oh, I think Chunk's back.
Hello.
Hello.
Chunk is-
All right. Let's, we got one last little bit to get through tonight.
For strawberry soda.
Nice. All right. So, eventually the hour strikes 7 and your party makes your way to the Great Hall, which is really only busted out for special occasions. This is one of them. For the most part, the college has a wooden foundation, and it's really only like you don't really see wooden structures too often. To be frank, it's because accidents happen a lot. But this is one of the few like blessed halls that the wood is actually fire immune. So it is ancient petrified wood in various different grains, with different stone columns throughout. There's different sconces that are enchanted to glow, and there's different within the hall. It actually is about 3 stories tall, with big what's it called when you have mosaic glass windows. Just think of like all the different magic elements in here to hopefully make it so things when things don't break too easily. Similar to the amphitheater, I didn't put all of the NPCs on just because I've noticed with Roll20 it slows things down. So theater of the mind, but known characters as your characters enter. You see, you the the two professors that were at the amphitheater, which for the most part is kind of the most important professors in your current knowledge, and what's the word I'm looking for? Curriculum. Professor Umric and Professor Barrows. Umric seems to be drinking some sort of libation, wine concoction, talking to a few other professors. Professor Barrows is already filling up her plate full of lovely various different food types. You got your turkey leg, you got your meat pies, you know, you got like think fantasy food, lovely table laid out. That's literally what it is. There's a few, I would say, students already kind of slowly going onto the dance floor to an easy waltz. There's magical music in the air. Not necessarily a live band, but it does seem the party is starting to get a little bit more on its way, and this is your character's time to kind of unwind, talk to each other. You're welcome to talk to other folks. Just let me know if you're going to go approach like a professor. If maybe you want to go talk to some other students, we can roleplay that. So the floor is respectively yours. Or you could talk to each other.
Well, Eliana's going to take and look at both Rowan and Aiden, and can you two explain what happened to for you guys in your guys' test?
Goblins. So many goblins.
Yeah. Goblins. And I think I remember a sheet or something.
Yeah.
Rowan
We
like
don't need to talk about
shoots
that.
this smirk at Aiden, just like
It worked, didn't it?
and then it didn't.
It worked well enough. I improvised.
That is true.
Eliana just kind of like put her hand over her eyes and just shake her head like, oh no.
Adrius is gonna have, he's gonna have been wandering off at this time.
You just think
Bye.
mention of goblins, and Adrius just kind of ducks out from the conversation. I love that.
Like, we're done. I would like to know, I don't know how exactly to ping a specific thing.
Click and hold on the map.
Ah, is this like a whole hippocampus on the table?
It's a mermaid.
Oh, I see. I thought it was laid out like a feast.
No, those are like stone
Statues.
Statues, yeah.
Got you. Purely decorative, I understand.
Yes.
What, Eliana, what happened for you? I heard mention of a crypt?
Oh. Wait. Okay, I am unmuted. Oh, it was mainly, it started off where we found a clearing. And then Arnatole appeared, because she was coming down from the sky. It challenged me to at least strike her once, in which she broke my quarterstaff. And I kind of lost control of my temper.
Oh.
And I became a bear.
Rowan
Once
can
on
also
the
be a bear in the mornings.
But can he shape into one?
Not quite.
Say I'm a bear in the mornings, but you sleep like the dead. Is that... What are you getting at
I
here?
hardly sleep.
Okay, guys. You were asking about the crypt.
Ah, right. The crypt.
That would be more for Adrius to explain, because Arnatole would not permit me to follow him.
Mm.
And speaking of Adrius, where did he go?
I believe he wandered further into the Great Hall.
By the way, real quick, Ileana, the one thing that would actually stand out that you could talk about is that there was a pretty significant earthquake that that revealed the entrance to the said tomb.
At that point, that's where she does remember that. And she goes, "Oh yeah, after I made a pact with Anatole, she had me and Adrius get on her back because there was an earthquake. Because above the crypt was a statue that ended up coming down and revealing the entrance to the crypt."
What sort of statue?
I was too busy dealing with Arnatole to even notice.
Fair enough.
I don't know if you being Aiden and Rowan remember, but there was a point in your guys' journey that there was an earthquake that happened when you entered into the
Yeah.
cave.
I was trying to remember if that
that's
actually did happen.
right.
Yeah.
It did. So you guys
Yeah.
got the remnants of said earthquake.
Of the earthquake.
And it
Okay.
was the earthquake that at the end of the goblin encounter you notice had revealed had shook some stones free, which revealed where the crystal was. Yep.
Yes.
I see. Okay.
Because yeah, it wasn't like the goblins had it on their person. Well, they discovered it, but yeah.
Only because of the earthquake. I
Correct.
see.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So we also felt that earthquake, and it seemed to have stirred up a nest of goblins, let's say.
So that means we weren't very far from each other.
Well, I imagine not. The forest is only so large.
We'll
And we
say
did
we were-
enter the same... Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say we were kind of led on a wild chase with Romulus running amok.
That is also true.
When we entered, we were on a trail of some tracks that led us to the clearing that we ended up in.
We also followed tracks. But I believe they belonged to Romulus, did they not?
Believe so.
And then the goblins had Axios in a cage.
At this point, Eliana doesn't know how to further or explain more about the crypt, so she's going to have to try and find Adrius.
Yeah. You look around and it does seem Adrius has found himself a seat at a table down the hall, right over here.
All
He looks like
right,
he's-
I guess.
Adrius looks like he's watching people.
All right,
yes,
I'm gonna come
people
have
watching.
a seat.
All right, Adrius. Rewinding a couple minutes for your people watching observations. Go ahead and give me an insight check, please.
You hear the baby.
Oh, did you just hear that?
Yeah.
I heard the purrs.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
So cute.
12.
12. Professor Barrows has now made her way to the second table. As you're kind of watching everything, you get a sense that the like underlying nervousness that she, if you weren't looking for it, if you hadn't, to be frank, rolled so highly, you wouldn't pick up on this prior, but it's still there. Every once in a while she seems to kind of take one hand and like rub it against her leg, like she's like trying to get rid of like excess sweat. She otherwise there's no other sign that she's nervous at all. She's talking to other professors, other students who come up and talk to her. The rest of the crowd seems pretty relaxed. The libations are definitely flowing. Folks are definitely a couple of drinks in. Chatter is starting to get a little bit louder, a little bit more echoey within the hall. Professor Umric is slowly making his rounds through the different tables, seemingly talking about some of the architecture. You see him every once in a while kind of pointing up to the various different like statues or things that have been carved into the wood pillars that are lining the hall. Yeah, I think that's about what you would get. And then eventually, as you're kind of sitting there, or did you get a drink at all, or are you just kind of sitting there empty-handed?
He would have gotten a drink.
Okay. Sitting there, slowly sipping. Is he a wine drinker, beer drinker, mead?
He's a mead drinker.
Of course. I would expect nothing less. Um, sipping on a half glass of mead. Seems to be, if you could think of like a whiskey glass, a little bit, 2 fingers poured into that of the mead. It's a very strong strawberry mead, kind of denoting how strawberries are coming into season now that summer is about to begin. And then you watch as Professor Barrows kind of clocks where your party is, kind of nods in your general direction, and the rest of your party mates come over and catch up with you, each of them respectively pulling out different chairs to join you at the table.
I think everybody would notice that Adrius kind of like eyeing Professor Barrows over his like the rim of his cup.
Adrius, what does the matter?
The professor seems nervous.
What do you mean by nervous?
Ever since our conversation about that crystal, she seems worried.
Oh. Well, we can't really do much about it tonight.
You all right? He looks at everybody else.
Rowan kind of looks up from his hair. He's been like sitting there twiddling his fingers. He's unsure of how to go about this social setting. He's very anxious. And it's like, huh? Like, just confused on if he had been talked to or anything like that.
Aiden is sort of also people watching and now specifically focusing on Barrows, now that Adrius has mentioned it. He also has a small plate of food and a glass of wine, but he's just kind of picking at it. Like he's pushed it around on his plate a little bit, but no one's actually seen him like take a sip or a bite. But he's doing a pretty convincing job of making it look like he's picking at it. But mostly he's now focused on Barrows.
Mm-hmm.
The group can see like Eliana's nervousness about it, but she's trying to just keep the group calm.
As your group is kind of sharing and looking over and picking up on Professor Barrows, she's slowly making her way towards your group, and you're gathering now with your basic insight, like she's trying to like slowly, methodically make her way towards your group without making it obvious that she's trying to make her way towards your group. And when she reaches this last table, trying to finish up a conversation with a young, lively dwarf who's one of like the first year professors there. She's kind of nodding along, and you can kind of slightly overhear her talking about like basic tips and tricks, especially because they're nearing having to go into like the next round of applicants who are trying to get into college and basically starting a new year. She's trying her best to like talk shop without giving specifics, as they are in a public setting. And then out of nowhere, the double doors to which you guys had entered slam open as half a dozen guards start making their way in. And when I say guards, they're not your typical guards. They are folk who are wearing a specific garb that is deep blue, very materialistic, with gold trim. They have various different dark metal plates on each of like, it's basically like leather armor, like I would say either varying plate, like from actual plate to scale. You watch as half a dozen then walk in, and the person that is kind of leading the head of the group is this taller than average dwarf, so puts him at like maybe 5 foot. Very muscular, late 20s, thick, not heavy set, braided beard. I'm gonna go ahead and very clearly when they first walked in, all like the it's like the sound of a record scratcher kind of scratches. The music stops. The lights kind of dim up as if somebody turned on the house lights, and they take a look. They scan the crowd before the person in the front clocks Professor Barrows and starts marching with haste towards Professor Barrows. Professor looks up, turns around, and you see a look of resignation upon her face. The marking on the chest of each of these persons is one that is like a shield with an eye on it in filigree above and below the eye. I need everyone except for Adrius to make a history check.
Wah, wah.
Okay. So that's
Oh shit.
oh shit. Okay,
Oh,
Eliana.
damn, all
All
right.
right. Okay. So Aiden, wow. Aiden and Rowan. At minimum, everybody would know that this is the garb of the Arcane Inspections Division. They are a unique division that operates independently of the City Guard of Serendale and the Devout Guard of the Diathanum. The Devout Guard, think of that as like your religious ranks that follow all the different clerics and priests of the major seven, versus like the City Guard. They are the ones that are like overseeing the well-being and the general crimes that occur within Serendale. But like the Devout Guard, they oversee like the protection of the sanctuary and the conclave, the protection of like very important persons, et cetera, et cetera. Sometimes they'll have to go out if their investigations lead them out of the conclave, and then it's like they have to interdepartment work between the city guard and the devout guard. The arcane inspection is like it's literally it's like a, for lack of a better term, like a federal division, not just Surrendale located, but it is another group that are responsible for seeking out arcane actors in bad faith, as well as quote unquote ancient artifacts or modern artifacts seen as a worldly threat. Their base of operations is out of the Reliquary in the University District, that basically acts as a lockdown, forbidden library and vault. The reason why Adrius didn't have to roll for it is Adrius has someone in common with Arcane Inspection Division. Ileana, I would say somewhere in your history, there was either a friend of a family or a distant family member that potentially was a arcane actor in bad faith. What does that mean? That means they were your quote unquote like evil-ish type that was doing nefarious things, you know, not seen of the divine, because there is like you can straddle-ish certain choices that you make, but for lack of a better way of describing it, you know, maybe they were kidnapping people, maybe they were like necromancers raising the dead in not a great way and trying to steal powers, etc., etc. I'll go ahead and show what the logo looks like, and then create,
So cool.
bring this character there. Oh, and honestly, I would say with that role, you would be familiar with one of the most recent kind of hard asses within the ranks, Captain Cromit Iron Tank. Iron Tank is known as the captain of the special division within the Arcane Inspection Division, which means they handle high level special cases. Specifically, perhaps someone who is a professor within the College of Wardens who might to be investigated. Captain Iron Tank walks up. The guards surround Professor Barrows, takes out what looks to be some sort of scroll, and begins reading the following. Professor Barrows, by authority of the Arcane Inspection Division, you are under arrest for being found with illegal arcane objects with the intent for nefarious means. You'll be brought before the court. You'll be able to plead your case. But for now, we're taking you to our barracks for further inspection and investigation. All rights have been forfeited upon this legal signing of these documents. That, honestly, you'll be able to review once we get you back to our barracks. Professor Barrows turns, takes one last look at your group, sighs heavily, and you see her pat that same spot on her clothes where that object had been earlier. She actually did not change into anything more formal, as that's actually probably what she's well known for. One, to be more realistic, not one to fall into rank, but be seen as like the everyday professor. And you watch with fear as you realize, and she realizes the object that she had placed there earlier is no longer there. She looks up at Iron Tank, head in resignation, just nods. And before she could step any further, Iron Tank holds out his hand. She glares at him before reaching across her neck and taking her own pendant and handing it over to Iron Tank as she is giving up her companion officially to Iron Tank. And from there, the guards seem to shackle her with magical shackles, not on her feet so she can walk, take each of her arms, and walk her out of the hall. Umric just looks across the hall, looks at your party as he's picking up on that Barrows was looking at your party. And that's where we're going to end our session tonight.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. With the arrest of Professor Scarlet Barrows. We will pick up next Monday in the aftermath of her arrest. And we will go from there. All right.
Well, this will be interesting.
Yeah. Hope you had fun. We're going to go ahead and transition into our stars and wishes, which for first-time viewers, this is something that I do with my other campaigns where stars, like your favorite part of the session, wish is something that you wish to see more or do more, or something that you want to do next session. It doesn't have to be like an overarching thing. It could just be like, oh, now that I know this thread, I want to follow up on this thread. And then we're going to go ahead. There wasn't too much for being able to offer inspiration, so we're going to skip that part. But I'd love to hear your stars and wishes before we close out. And if no one has any, we can also close out that as well.
Sorry, I was muted.
Nope, you're good.
So, stars. Alright. I love Axios. He's so cute. Getting all excited that I said the whole name. Oh, baby. Wishes. Or, like, I feel like Aiden is gonna get himself involved in this situation with Barrows because he's going to feel very responsible for it. He's assuming it's something to do with that stupid crystal, and he is kind of kicking himself for giving it to her rather than maybe doing the responsible thing and contacting the division directly, or even just leaving it in the cave.
I have a feeling that Eliana's gonna try to get involved because she's worried about the professor now.
I feel like we're going to court, boys.
Mm-hmm. Love that. Love that. Creature heard your voice, so let's pop over to you next.
Like I said, I believe Eliana's gonna get involved, but she's going to. I want to kind of. I think she's gonna showcase what she can do, as far as her abilities.
Nice. All right, Rowan.
Feel like for our first session all together, we all kind of vibed really well. I'm excited to see how the banter goes between everyone. I'm excited to see the interactions between our companions and everyone else, because it's more than just the companion and the person that they're bonded with, but it's also the interaction with the entire party. I like the snarky remarks that are happening between certain people. It's good. I'm just excited to see where things go. It's gonna be fun.
Heck yeah. Adrius.
Especially as we get to know each other's characters more.
Yee.
I would say, especially at the end, Adrius probably would have immediately his probably his senses would have been heightened in that moment. Like he knows these people. Like he knows the information about them, what they do, and it was just for him. This is immediately one of those things where he's like, now I gotta investigate.
Mm-hmm. Especially because I would say Adris would know the level of like city guard is always like, it's kind of hit or miss for how their investigations go. But when it's the arcane inspection division, like they usually have like airtight cases. So what exactly did Barrows do to garner their attention? I would
Yeah, and
say
like why in that like small amount of time, how would they have figured this out?
based on your history with them, your character would know that there's something more than just the 24 hours. Whatever happened in, because it wasn't 24. I mean, it was 24 hours ish since the stone was located, but then when, I mean, Scarlet only had possession of it for maybe 5, 6, maybe. The division does
Yeah.
not do especially out in the open. They it is very rare. There's got to be a bigger case. There's more to it than just whatever you guys found.
Yeah, it would have been. I think to Adrius, it would have been a little bit confusing to him because like she didn't have it for that long, and if they had already had a case about something like this, then the party would have been involved.
Mhm.
So he's definitely like brainstorming, trying to put the pieces together.
I hear you. And I think with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up. Thank you so much, folks, for joining in. Your homework is thinking of that code word for the pendant that you all obtained today. So we'll pick up here next Monday. Sound good?
Sounds
right.
good.
Good night, everybody.
Sounds good. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
And with that, folks, I'm going to go ahead and end stream here. Thanks so much for hanging out. As usual, remember, please, to be kind to yourself, drink water, and I will see you folks next time. Good night.